I am recording this right after having my hair trial done. Will I ever record one of these when I've not had something done for my wedding? Hey, what's up guys? I am SheNoob and this is my review for RWBY Volume 3 Chapter 2 New Challenges. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you all so much for your feedback and your support on the Chapter 1 review. It's so good to see so many of you getting engaged in the video. Also, a huge thank you for getting us to 4 million views. That's massive. We're also like 15 subscribers away from 7,000, so please remember to share this video and the channel with your friends and family, whoever, and just get us out there. Apologies for my nasally voice too, I've actually got a really bad cold. Sorry also if you can hear the fan noise in the background, it's just that I live in Australia and it is freaking hot here right now. So unless you want me to die of heat stroke, I won't be turning that off. And now, the episode. This episode starts pretty much right where we left off at the end of the first one. Team Juniper and Team Bronze are about to go head to head in the first round of the tournament. The first thing I'm wondering at the very start of this episode is, what is Jean gonna be like as a proper team leader in a combat situation? Immediately my question is answered. Not that great. Sorry Jean. Although while Jean's leadership skills do need a bit of brushing up, Team Bronze honestly doesn't seem like anything that special either. They're a bit of a motley bunch, really. My first impressions of Team Bronze were really not that great. They don't seem to communicate very well as a team, or at all as a team even. I'm not sure if that girl with the sniper rifle is the leader or not. I think she is, and I think her name is Bronze, spelled with an A-W something, I don't know. But immediately she just backed off from the group, leapt up into a tree and started pumping sniper rounds into the dirt. She is an awful shot. Team Juniper was standing still on several occasions and she just couldn't hit them. I loved seeing Nora's semblance finally coming into play and hearing Professor Port and Dr. Oobleck talking about it. Did anyone else find that bit of animation where after Nora charges up her semblance and then she pushes her hammer towards the dude from Team Bronze? Did anyone else find that animation a little awkward? But still, it's Nora and it was funny to see her use her semblance. For the first time, really. I am loving Ren's new revised personality for this volume. He's so sarcastic now. I suppose he was before, but you couldn't really tell with his tone whether he was being sarcastic or serious. He was just always kind of monotone. And that was the way Monty played him. But that's just always been Ren's character. He never really has much to say, and what he does say is kind of almost factual. To see him being sarcastic, especially when he turns around to Jean after Jean tells him to distract the sniper.
Sure, why not?
It's actually pretty fun for Ren's character. Like I said before, Jean's leadership really isn't very good. It needs a lot of work. Also, his finesse in combat really hasn't improved that much since Volume 2. I mean, for goodness sake, he got hit in the face with his own shield. Only Jean can manage that. Did anyone else think that Ren's little slide on his knees that he did was super awesome? I don't know why, but I just replay that shot over and over because I just like the way that it looks. Nora's attack after she jumps up onto the thunderstorm mountain and then shoots like all of her grenades out of her thing at once and they form a love heart. It looked like it was going to be like a super destructive attack, and then it didn't really do much other than just burn out the trees. It didn't even set anything on fire. It certainly didn't do very much damage to Bronze or whatever her name is. Then after that, the fight comes to a screeching halt when Jean yells out flower power. The fact that they're having a mid-fight team meeting because everyone is confused about their team attack names is something only Jean could manage. I like the little mention of Arcos in there as well, how he's named his and Pyrrha's shield attack Arcos, and she looks so confused about it, like it doesn't make sense. Jean turning around and shouting at Team Bronze that they're in the middle of a conversation cracked me up. All I could hear was Miles, and then Jean just gives up and tells Nora to whack them, and they end up ringing all 4 of them out at the same time. Way to take them by surprise. If they wanted to, they could spin it like that was their tactic all along. Although I think most of Beacon and the other academies already know that Team Juniper is a bit well, disorganized, let's put it that way. I have to admit, and it's kind of embarrassing, I squeed a little bit when I saw Crow for the first time. I really like his character model, although he does remind me eerily of Mercury, and I'm wondering if it's deliberate or if it's just laziness. One thing that disappointed me a little about Uncle Crow though is that his character model seems way too young for his character. I know that anime is really guilty of doing this, and I know that it can be really hard for the art style they've gone with for RWBY, especially with 3D models, trying to make the faces look even remotely different. Also, trying to distinguish age using anything other than height and build is tricky as well. But he also sounds a little bit too young. He's supposed to be, you know, like 20, 25 years older than Ruby and Yang, and he just doesn't seem old enough. Vic Manamana. I really like Vic's voice for Uncle Crow. Although they've made him seem at first impressions like a bit of a drunken moron. I know he's supposed to be this badass warrior. He kind of reminds me of Brad Wong, actually, from Dead or Alive. After Uncle Crow's reveal, we head back to the Coliseum for the next fight, which happens to be Team Sun versus Team Indigo. That little bit at the beginning before they start fighting where Weiss calls out, "Good luck, Neptune!" And then he's all like,
"Ladies."
And then she's like,
"Break his stupid face, Indigo!"
Seriously, Weiss, he is not worth your time. Neptune's a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, he's dumb.
I really like the look of Team Indigo. I like their costumes, I like their weapon designs, and they're 4 very pretty ladies. I like the name Team Indigo as well until I went on Google and looked up that it's actually NDGO. I just assumed it would be INDG. NDGO is a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, it's RWBY. Let's look at Team Sun. Then we discover that Neptune, of all people, is afraid of the water. I feel like there's some sort of interesting backstory behind this that we might get to find out later this volume. Of course though, they would make the character called Neptune, who is based after the Greek god Neptune, the god of the seas, afraid of water. Bloody typical Rooster Teeth. Actually, it's bloody typical Miles and Kerry is what it is.
Alright.
And scene.
Also, how come Blake knows this? Did Neptune tell her, or did Sun tell her? Did she overhear it? I got so excited when I heard Gavin's voice coming out of Scarlett's mouth.
I hope I don't get sand in my shoes.
I have been wondering since Volume 1 who Gavin was eventually going to voice. They said way back at the end of Volume 1 that they had a character in mind for him. Was Scarlett this character, or did they end up changing it? I guess Sun was in Volume 1 and he had to have a team, so maybe they did have Scarlett in mind all along. Whatever, it's been a long time coming and it's actually really good to see Gavin voicing a competent character in something for once. Usually he just voices some idiot. Scarlett's actually not half bad. He's kind of like a hippie pirate almost. Scarlett's expression when he looks up after pulling whatever her name is, up onto the mast and all the knives fall down around him. I love that expression. It made me laugh so hard. It was very Gavin. I'd just like to say that the scoring for this episode was absolutely gorgeous. The music was soft but appropriate for a battle scenario as well, and it really went well with Team Indigo and Team Sun, as well as the biomes they were fighting in. Sage's sword with the sort of clock design at the handle reminds me of something out of Final Fantasy, kind of like Cloud's Buster Sword. I am interested in seeing exactly what it is that Sage can do. And of course, Gavin has to get hit in the nuts with a coconut right there. If it's not Jeff, it's Gavin. I just also want to point out that the background animation so far this volume has been exquisite. Every time you have a shot of like a character in the foreground and then there's a big wide shot, there's always something going on in the background. I've noticed that as the volumes have progressed, the background animation has gotten much better every time. I thought it was good in volume 2 at the start, where right before the food fight, where Sun and Neptune are walking along and everything's happening inside the hall behind them. But just that shot of Sun yelling at Neptune and then the girls interacting behind him, as well as a few shots in the first episode during Team RWBY's fight, the background animation has been great so far. I'm really impressed. Neptune's little tiptoes as he goes towards the water to stick his, I guess it's a trident into it, that was very Kerry and very amusing. Oobleck's bloody pun after Team Sun wins their battle, and then Peter Port says, "You know what I call that victory?" And Oobleck goes, "Shocking?" And then Port says,
"No,
Well earned. What you said is stupid.
The dejected look on Dr. Ublake's face. Oh my gosh. Yang calling the boys dorks after they win their fight and then Blake blushing when Sun looks at her was very cute. I'd really love to see a proper romance blossom between Blake and Sun. And it's not just because they're faunus either. Who wouldn't want to see a cat and a monkey hook up? That sounded wrong. Also, what is the dealio between Crow and Winter? I know that she's a Shnee, but how do they know each other? And what the heck is with Uncle Crow's grudge against her? He recognizes her ship, and we saw the two of them properly fighting in the Volume 3 trailer. What is going on there? I guess we'll find out next episode, but then again we might not. I'm so annoyed there's no RWBY this week because of the extra live stream. But hey, it's for the kids. After Crow waltzes out of the bar that he's in, by the way, the Crow bar, classy. That's worse than From Dusk Till Dawn. The bartender knocks over a glass and then is like,
Oh, gee darn it.
what the heck? It just made me laugh. I have no idea why it's in there, but it's funny. So random. Ublake's announcement over the loudspeakers in the Coliseum made me laugh. Calm and orderly fashion!
Please leave the Coliseum in a calm and orderly fashion!
Joel Heyman playing any character in anything. I don't hear the character, I just hear Joel. I love Joel. Then at the very end of the episode, we see Winter Schnee's ship coming in and Weiss's reaction. She has such a happy look on her face. I always assumed that she didn't get along with her family, but clearly she idolizes her sister. She's clearly not on good terms with her father, which is understandable, and she did explain a bit of that in Volume 1. But what I'm wondering now is her affection for her sister reciprocated? Or is her sister horrible to her? I can't wait to see Winter in the next episode though. And the last thing I'll mention is that the soundtrack is absolutely killing it this volume. This might be shaping up to be my favorite OST yet. Casey Lee's vocals certainly improve every year. Seeing her go from a little 11-year-old girl singing her beat and falling towards the sky for Red vs. Blue season 9, I believe, to now when she's singing these rock hits and these awesome ballads and things like Mirror Mirror, her vocals certainly have come a long way. I still really struggle to understand her when she sings though. Her diction really isn't that great. It makes it really hard for me when I'm trying to work out the lyrics, because I can't really understand her when she sings. But still, she has an amazing voice. This episode did feel a little odd to me, but it was enjoyable as always. It's definitely going to take me some time to get used to how the fight scenes look now. They'll get better with time, of course, but a great follow-up to the premiere. I feel like we're going to be spending most of our story time in the Coliseum this volume, which is fine, but I hope they can manage to keep it interesting and it doesn't get repetitive too quickly. I'm so bummed I have to wait an extra week to find out what happens next. And this has been my review of RWBY Volume 3 Chapter 2. Once again, I hope you all enjoyed, and don't forget to like the video and leave a comment giving me all of your thoughts. There has been a lot more support than I anticipated for the last RWBY review, so I hope we can keep that going because it's really awesome for me to see. I really love getting feedback, and I love talking to all of you, so don't be afraid to leave me a comment. I try and respond to as many of my comments as humanly possible. Also, if this is the first video on this channel that you've seen, you can click any of these other videos around me now if you want to watch more. Or you can click that big red button up there to subscribe. We are so close to 7,000 and it will be great to make that happen. So if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? That'll be all from me for now. I am sweating like a pig and I'm gonna go get a bigger fan. Bye.